keep you healthy. And health of body and mind are important. Two things. A man is made up of two things, basically. That is the body and the spirit or mind. And if one of them is sick, then the whole being is sick. And they are interlinked. So healthy living to most people means physical, that is the body, and mental health are in balance. So if they are out of balance, then you are in trouble. In many instances, physical and mental well-being are important and are closely linked, so that if one is bad, the other one is also bad. For instance, let me give an example here. There is a patient who came to see me, a lady, because I see mostly ladies. And she told me, Daktari, I have a problem of an order. You know when I say an order, O-D, or dual. Kama ni unaandika or dual, order. That is smell. Kamuuliza why? Who tells you are smelling? She told me, every time nikiingia matatu, watu wanajishika nini? Mapua. And you know, this is just something she's thinking. Eh? Nikamwambia bona mimi sijasikia. Nanuka. So when we went to the examination couch, because the interview takes place at the table there, then we get into another room where I have to examine. I don't know for what reason, nikaenda kujishika hivyo. And she told me, si unaona hata wewe umejishika mapua. So this lady had this feeling that ananuka. Na huwezi kutoa kwa kichwa yake. That is not a physical illness. It is a what? Psychological, mental illness. So, lifestyle diseases is diseases that if you change your lifestyle, you'll be able to prevent some of the diseases that come to us. A disease that potentially can be prevented by changes in diet, environment, or lifestyle. And these are the diseases that you can change by changing those things. Nimesema hapo: diet, environment, lifestyle. Heart disease. Heart disease can be two types. One is you are born with it, that is congenital, or is acquired. Acquired means you have acquired it in life. Then things like stroke. Stroke is when you find people walking with a limp. Na mkono inaenda hivi. So that means ako paralyzed one side of the brain. Okay, that's a stroke. Obesity ni kuwa mkubwa beyond your height. I have taught about how to determine your optimum weight through something we call body mass index. Body mass index. And since you are writing, let me give you the formula to determine your weight. What is your weight? One, it is weight in kilograms. Weight yako tu, your own weight in kilograms. So say you are 65, 55. I can see many of you are not beyond 70. Apart from myself na mzee mwingine. Now, so that age, I mean that weight, you divide by height, your height, which we write at HT squared. That is your height in meters, not in centimeters, in meters. Now, what makes 1 meter? How many centimeters? 100. So if you are 1.6 meters, most people are around there, it is 1.6 squared. And the weight ndio iko juu is the numerator. Denominator is height in meters squared. So equals, you get a figure, isn't it? The figure you get is your body mass index. And the normal, if you want to write the normal, you should be between 18 and 24.9, or say 25. So the figure you get at equals, if it is beyond 25, you are tending towards me. Okay? If it is less than 18, you are underweight. You need to eat more. Okay, so you can, if you know your height, you know your weight, you can already tell me your body mass index already. And you'll find that if your body mass index is 25 to 30, you are overweight. Okay? That's the interpretation. Between 18 and 25, you are normal. Say normal. Between 25 and 30, you are overweight. So you need to do something about it. If you are between 31 to 35, you are obese. Obese. You are now even beyond overweight, you are obese. Above 36, you are pathologically obese. Yours is pathological. And then osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a weakening of bones. They become weak, such that when you fall down, you are likely to get a fracture. So if you do some things we are going to see here, you can avoid it. Now, some of this changes that you need to do regards your eating habits. Your eating habits. And what I'm saying there is that you are, can you read there? You are what you eat. When you eat, and how you eat it. How do you prepare what you are eating? What you eat depends on, is it a good diet? If you are given, say, githeri, because me, I was brought up by my mother eating githeri back home. And you are given a pizza. Which one are you likely to want to eat? Pizza, yeah, because you people, young people, you want pizza. But unfortunately, pizza is not good food. It is very tasty, very smart in the way it tastes, but it's not good for your health. So don't eat a lot of burgers, because those are the things that people eat in town, chips. We call them junk food. Eat wholesome food. In the morning, make a habit of eating arrowroots, ndoma, ngwashi. In fact, if you put before me in the morning breakfast, you put bread, you put ngwashi and ndoma, you'll never touch bread. But young people like you, you know you want to eat bread. I think it's because I've eaten bread too much. That is what you eat is important. Mostly the things you need to eat are whole grains, like what I'm saying, githeri, of course, that is whole grain of maize and beans, or Njugu, sometimes people call jogo na ni minji in kwetu. When do you eat it? You are supposed to have 3 meals in a day. That is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the order in which you eat those meals is that the heaviest meal should be breakfast. Heaviest meal should be breakfast. But we were brought up reversing that order. You eat heaviest meal in the evening when you are watching TV, dinner. That's what you eat now the most. And you find that you start having problems in the night. You can't sleep well because you have taken too much. So breakfast, we say, in the morning, eat like a king. That means you eat very good food in the morning. Lunch, eat like a prince, mtoto wa king. And then dinner, eat like a pauper. That means a poor person. Sometimes just, if you are still not feeling hungry, just eat a fruit and some chocolate or something. Don't fully put your stomach a lot of githeri and then you are going to bed. Because it makes you wake up around 3 a.m. It wakes you up. You feel like throwing up because of sleeping with a full stomach. How you eat it, how you prepare. How is your food being prepared? And one important thing, because you are the new generation, we used to eat or prepare food using 3 stones. Githeri, even ile earthenware pot ndio ilikuwa napika. Siku hizi we are using new stuff like microwave, you know. But microwave, be careful. Don't heat food using plastic containers and you put it in the microwave, you heat. Because it has been found that that plastic sometimes gets into food because of that heat microwave. And then you are eating your food together with plastics, which eventually, when you eat for too long, you find yourself coming up with cancer. Yeah, I've said this, 3 meals. It's important to remember dinner does not have to be the largest meal. The bulk of food consumption should consist of fruits, vegetables, whole grains. Now, there is a formula people use, and you'll find this nutritionist giving you that kind of a formula. If your plate is round, divide it into 4, into what? Quarters, isn't it? So the first quarter is carbohydrates, second quarter is proteins. Now, the other 2 quarters, veggies. You understand what I mean? Such that you are eating carbohydrates a quarter of the plate, proteins a quarter, and then the others are veggies, vegetables. And that way you'll manage to keep your weight down. Choose to eat lean meats, poultry, that is chicken, this is called white meat, fish, beans, eggs, and nuts, with emphasis on beans and nuts. They are important. We'll see in another slide how they even prevent you from getting cancer, which has become a menace in our country. Choose foods that are low in saturated fats, trans fats, cholesterol, sodium. They should have very low sugar, salt and sugars. Also, we don't find people adding sugar in food. But if you go to China, where I've been, even I studied there, you go to a restaurant, if you order food, you will find that it has a lot of sugar. It's actually tasting like sugar, but they add sugar. They add sugar. So avoid eating sugars. Look at the labels because they are first listed items, and learn to know what you are eating. In the label, if you are buying something that has a label, you should know what are the ingredients. And then in terms of the amount of food you are going to eat, you eat the smallest portion that satisfies your hunger, and then stop eating. The trouble is that sometimes you have eaten ya kutosha and unaendelea kuongezewa. Just eat the enough to satisfy hunger, and then you stop. Avoid. These are things to avoid. Sodas. And this is very common among you people. You just want to eat something that is tasting sweet. Sodas. Sugar-enhanced drinks. That is like fruit juices. There are some fruit juices. Companies that make fruit juices like apple or pineapple or orange, and it is not the actual fruit. They have, done something to get that juice. It is flavoring the juice to make it taste like orange or apple or pineapple. That is what is called sugar-enhanced drinks, and they have excessive calories. Do you know a soda, 500 milliliter soda of Coke? Have you heard how many spoons of sugar it contains? How many people know? One soda, the one of Coke, it has 13 spoons. 13. So if you take one Coke, and when people feel hungry, that's what they want to grab. You have eaten 13 spoons of sugar. Diet drinks may not be a good choice as they make some people hungrier. When people started complaining of Coke, that it has too much sugar, they brought something called Diet Coke to kind of capture the people who are now sensitive to sugar. And this is what I'm saying, that diet drinks are not good also. Avoid eating large meal before sleeping. I've already said that, to decrease gastroesophageal reflux or weight gain. You see what happens when you eat food, and this is the formula you should know. If your body, depending on the nature of your work, say your work involves digging, farming back home, and your body that day, because of that nature of work, requires 3,000 calories. Okay? Then you eat food that gives you 3,500 calories. So what happens? The 500 balance is stored as fat. And that's why I said, if you eat a very heavy meal in the morning, because you are working, you are going to work, you go to chamba, you go to the office, you keep on walking, you are spending what you have eaten. Take the same, you eat 4,000 calories worth of food, and you are going to bed. You are not going to expend that energy. So the whole amount will be made into fat, and your body just puts it into fat areas. That's why it is important that you follow the instructions. Avoid rewarding children with sugary snacks. When you get children, young people, We have seen this in the supermarkets. You enter a supermarket, a certain child with a mother, in tow, or a child in tow, starts making some noise, ameona kitu anataka, and sends what we call tender tantrums. And the mother, because of embarrassment, just buys a sweet to keep this child quiet. That's wrong. So don't reward children with sugary snacks, because that is a pattern that become a lifelong habit. Every time anataka kitu sweet to make him feel good. Exercise, this is another one. So we have dealt with diet, and then we are in the other part that now helps you to maintain your health. That is exercise. Physical activity is a major contributor to a healthy lifestyle. And sometimes when people hear physical activity, they only think of gym, visiting a gym. I wanted one time to really work on my weight myself. So I went and enlisted in a gym, and I found that what they are doing in the gym is there is this treadmill, and people are running on it. So first day I ran on it kidogo tu, but as I got used to the treadmill, I could keep up with the veterans who were there before, who have been there going year in, year out. And me, I'm like a month old in the gym. Then I started feeling my hip joints, they are affected. And when I went for an X-ray, I found that I was actually destroying my hip joint. The hip joint is usually like a ball and a cup. Okay? It fits into your body more or less like this. This is the bone. It fits into a cup like that. And that's where it moves. So between the bone and the cup is where I was destroying by running on the treadmill. So even though you may want to go to treadmill, it is good, it will help you, and other exercises, but it's also expensive, and there is a cheaper way of doing it, by just walking. If you live in Bahati here, we are in Bahati, instead of choosing to take a mat here, you can choose to walk to town. You can choose to ride a bicycle. Although our roads are not made for that kind of traveling, you can also choose to, ride a bicycle or walking. Of course, running, people will think you are crazy. So those are the simple things you can do and help yourself. Yesterday I was in where University of Nairobi is? Particularly where the halls are. There is a church there, and that's where I normally go, called St. Andrew's Church. So I was going back to my office from there. So I called for a Uber to take me to my office. And I found the Uber was charging me, they tell you in that app, isn't it? They tell you the price you will pay before even the driver comes. So I found I was going to pay 1,250. I said, no, let me walk. And I walked all the way from there to my office in Afya Center, which is healthy. And I thank God for giving me that insight, that walking would be better. And of course, it makes good cents or cents, isn't it? Because I saved 1,012.50. People are made to use their bodies, and disuse leads to unhealthy living. If you disuse your body by just sitting down, you are not moving, you are disusing your body, and that is not healthy. So regular exercise can prevent and reverse age-related decreases in muscle mass and strength. Muscle mass and strength. They improve balance because you are walking or you are doing a physical exercise. You are less likely to fall down or trip over. Then you become more flexible because of exercise. You are able to endure. Endurance. One of the things that people do who work in offices, like us, we are recommended to take less of the lift. If you are staying in a 5th floor of a building, just walk instead of taking the lift. I normally see people in our building, mtu anaenda M2 ama M3, which is 2 floors. Anangojea lift hapo. And when tunaingia pamoja na anafinya M2, nasikia kumwambia, why didn't you walk? There is a friend of mine, Dr. Colleague. He used to stay in corner house. His office was in M3, and that building was up to, I think, 14 floors. He would park his car in the basement, go past his office, go all the way to the top, to 14th floor, walking. Then he comes down from 14th to M3. That is enough exercise for the whole day, let me tell you. Walking. Amefanya kazi ya the whole week, almost. So it also decreases a risk of falls when you are old. So unhealthy living may manifest itself in obesity, weakness, lack of endurance. And this is one of the things that I personally find myself being affected, because you climb some stairs, by the time you reach 5th floor, you say, unahema, like your heart goes to come out. And then overall poor health that may bring problems in future. So regular exercise can prevent coronary heart disease, stroke, diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure. Regular weight-bearing exercise can also help prevent osteoporosis, because the bones become stronger. I told you osteoporosis means softening of the bones by building the bone. Regular exercise can also help you avoid chronic arthritis and perform, you're able to perform such duties as driving, climbing stairs, opening jars and all. So regular exercise also can help you increase self-esteem, self-confidence, and decreases stress, anxiety, and enhances mood. Regular exercise can help control weight gain and some people loss of fat. So 30 minutes of modest exercise, that is just walking, at least 3 to 5 days a week is recommended. just walking a little bit distance, a lot of distance kidogo tu, maybe 1 kilometer and back. If you do that, and you can do that when you come back from work, then that is enough. You can also, I normally recommend that even in your own house, your room, even if you don't have a house now, but I'm sure you stay in some room, find a small mattress, just like a flat mattress. You put it down. You do, if you want to flatten your tummy, you can do lifting of, that is called sit-ups. You put your 2 hands behind, and then you lift your head, or lift your legs up. Unahesabu 10 times mguu moja, 10 times mguu moja, hii ingine, then 10 times miguu yote mbili, and that way you strengthen your abdominal muscles. And that kind of thing does not require you to pay a gym to help you. Then it is recommended that you start slowly. You don't start the way I did in the treadmill. In fact, I almost destroyed my hips. You start slowly and progress gradually. Let it be gradual. And over time, you can build even 30 to 60 minutes of vigorous training in good time. And people are never too old to start. You can start at any time. For you, people are young. People can start even at 70, 80 years, and they can do this exercise. I've seen some competition of old people, 90 and above, wanakibia 100 meters. And even if they are running just like this, you still have a winner. And that is very good. So these are the kind of exercises. Resistance to something. That means when you are raising your leg, you are using abdominal muscles, so they become stronger. Weightlifters, if they want to make the biceps very big, they make resistance against the biceps. Biceps is this one. Yeah. Water aerobics, walking, swimming, lifting weights. Yoga is recommended by people from the East and many others. Things to avoid in order to remain healthy: avoid smoking, that is use of tobacco. In 90% of men, lung cancer is a problem. Lung cancer is attributable to smoking, and in 80% of women. This is particularly in the West. Our women don't really smoke that much. Tobacco use causes cancer of the lung, mouth, lip, tongue, esophagus, kidney, bladder. All these cancers come from tobacco. Alcohol use, chronic excessive use of alcohol is a major cause of something we call liver cirrhosis, which is a precursor of cancer of the liver, hepatoma. Liver cirrhosis, which comes from now taking too much alcohol, leads to internal hemorrhage. You start bleeding inside, and sometimes they can bleed from the esophagus, so much blood, until you find like they are anemic because of that. Fluid accumulation in the abdomen, Then easy bleeding and bruising because the liver has been affected. Muscle wasting, mental confusion, infections in advanced cases, coma, and then kidney failure. And that is towards the final stages of your disease. High risk, this is the third one that we have dealt with. I hope you are getting these things, the broad groups. We talked about diet. Yeah? Just let's recap. Diet. Then we have done exercise. Now we are in an area called high risk sexual behavior, because it also means whether you live or you die early. If you are living like this, high risk sexual behavior, and I said in the morning in the earlier session that you find a person having multiple friends, whether male or female, this one doesn't choose, then you are likely to get these infections. And I said these infections are the ones that cause infertility. Even when you are treated and you get well, the repercussions are still there with you. So that you will eventually come now saying, okay, I'm married for 5 years and we can't get a baby. Why? Then when we investigate, we find that this is what really killed your ability to conceive. Gonorrhea is one of them. It blocks fallopian tubes very fast. And the way they block the fallopian tubes, you cannot be treated. Yes, you are treated ukapona hiyo, lakini the repercussions ndio sasa zinakukura. Syphilis can stay in body for even 30-40 years. You got it when you are young, like there is a mzee who I was surprised the other day. He's a mzee I know, and because he got sick and doctors could not explain why he's sick, we tend to do very many tests in an attempt to find out what is ailing you. So they found that he had this syphilis. And I am saying it can catch you when you are young, stays dormant in your body until you are 60-70 years. This mzee is almost 70. And eventually, because it goes in stages, there is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Stage 4 starts eating your brain. You get confused. And then that is the end. Then herpes simplex. This together with HPV, this together with this one, are the causes of cervical cancer, the two of them. So cervical cancer is not something that you get from people. I mean, if you sit next to somebody who has it. This is sexually transmitted disease. You get this herpes simplex and HPV. This is human papillomavirus. That's what it means. The fourth group, large group, is risky behavior, which is common now in Kenya, is this one, driving under the influence. Now that the alcohol was removed from the roads, it was removed. You cannot find a police telling you, bro, into this thing to find out how much alcohol it is in your system. I hope it will not lead to people driving under the influence. People have died, young men and young women, because of this. They go to a party, they drink, they don't have a designated driver to drive them home. They just enter into their vehicle and drive. And they go and crash. Sons and daughters of very important people in this country have died because of that. Some of them driving very powerful cars. Ukikanyaga kidogo mafuta inaruka. Driving while sleep deprived. When you haven't slept enough and you are still driving. Yesterday I witnessed an accident which I believe was caused by this. Sleep deprivation. Near Kangemi. I was behind a matatu. So, and ahead there was a stage. So at the stage, a minibus came to the road without checking the mirror, whether there is another driver nearby. So he just katoka. Now this is Nissan Matatus, the 14-seater. The driver was very close when he saw this driver ametoka. But I think either he was sleep deprived because he overreacted. He oversteered to avoid accidents. He steered too much to the right. So the car left the road and went into the ditch. Yeah. So that is the kind of thing I'm saying. The driver, most likely, he had not slept well. And he was taking some people to Kisii, because when I stopped to see whether there are people with injuries, they were speaking Kisii. So he had just left Nairobi. He was taking people to Kisii when he's half awake. And then reckless driving and speeding. The way young people, unaona somebody comes and cuts you in front, and then you say, anataka kunionyesha gari yake ni powerful. I'll show him mine is also powerful. Unafukuzana na yeye, and yet you don't know where this guy is going. Just drive yourself to where you are going. Drive slowly. Avoid competing on the road. Or driving while using cell phones. You know, you are driving and you are on a phone. And I found many people driving like that. It is better to install a gadget you can put, which mine uses a gadget inside the car. So I receive your call from the speakerphones, speakers, radio, or my system. So I'll be able to hear you. Although now, if I'm carrying my family, and there is a patient lady who is calling me, telling me her problems, everybody in the car will hear what we are discussing. That's the only danger. But using that is better than using holding. That is hands-free. Motorcycles and bicycle riding without helmets is another one. It's very common. We are finding so many people being knocked down on the roads. They don't have helmets. In Kenyatta Hospital, it has one whole ward is dedicated to borders. It's actually called border ward. Just because so many people are injured on the roads, and utaenda that ward ukute miguu imekuwa hanged juu trying to rekebisha problems. Or possession of firearms. This one doesn't apply to us. Guns without proper training and storage, and smoking in bed. When you are in your bed and you are also smoking. And sometimes people fall asleep and you didn't switch off the cigarette. What happens? It falls onto your bed, it smolders, and starts a fire. You can burn a house because of that. That's the end. So I don't know whether we go to another session so that I can pick the questions at a go.